What is going on, YouTube? This is the JustBS'n podcast with episode 6. I am here today with none other than the great Andrew. How are we doing, sir?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I mean, obviously, we had a pretty decent weekend and even week, really, in sports. I mean, obviously, there's been a little drama, but, you know,
Of course.
there's never not drama here in Cleveland. So that's usually expected. But other than that, I mean, we went 3 for 3 in terms of teams that needed to win this week, or I should say wanted to win this week.
Yeah.
The Browns came out with big W that honestly, we probably shouldn't have beaten the Colts with the way we played, but Myles Garrett carried us to a dub, and we were able to score there at the last freaking second, which was great. Ohio State came out with a huge win against Penn State, very dominant in a sense. They could not Penn State couldn't get anything going. So that was good too. And obviously the CAVS had their opener, and they have their home opener, I believe, was tomorrow or Saturday.
Yeah, tomorrow's the home opener for the CAVS.
So
beating Brooklyn last night too on the game winner.
Yes, sir. So, now we got Cavs talk to include in this. So this is going to be fun. I'm excited that we finally have, more than just the Browns really to talk about.
Yeah.
And then obviously with, OSU starting to ramp up a little more, we're getting into that, time of the year. Sports is fun around this time of year. I love it.
Oh, dude, me too. Like now you're starting to get into basketball season, and football is right in the midst of everything. So it's college football. Everything's just clumping together, and it's just so nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is easily the best time of the year for any sort of sports. So I'm really excited. But let's go ahead and obviously start off at the top with Browns Colts. Obviously, as I said before, this was a game that we realistically shouldn't have won with just how the offense played, and even our defense gave up some big plays. But Myles Garrett is a specimen of a human being, and he quite literally carried us throughout that entire game, and he helped will us to get through that game. I just can't say enough about the dude. The dude's unreal.
Yeah, no, dude, the dude's absolutely just ridiculous when it comes to what he does. I mean, jumping over the entire line to block a kick. I mean, just everything he's done, the strip sack in the end zone for a touchdown before the end of the half. This dude is just absolutely bizarre, and he had 2 sacks on the day as well. He was just absolutely everywhere.
I mean, sacks, fumbles. He created at least one that ended up being a touchdown. Obviously, the block kick, that is probably one of the most athletic things I've seen a dude his size do. Yeah, he had a very big day. He also had 9 tackles, I believe, on today. So the dude just played a good. Yeah, so he just all around had an incredible game for us. It kept us in the game even when we didn't really deserve it. And we can start here too. The Watson thing, we kind of called it. We were worried about, hey, if he plays this week, he takes one hit and it's back to ground zero. And now it seems like we're kind of there. And now it's up in the air as to whether or not he's even going to play against Arizona at this point. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, we said it all throughout, after or before San Francisco, during or after San Francisco, stuff like that, that when it came to going into this Colts game, that he should have sat out. And I mean, I think that was a lot of the input around here too, was that Watson should have sat. Yeah. And for some odd reason, they're like, oh, well, Watson's going to start. And it's like, oh, okay. And then, of course, 4 plays, 1 pick, almost 2 picks, should have been 2 picks, 1 throwaway. And I think he had a sack as well. So, I mean, 4 plays. Or no, it was a throwaway.
5. 5 plays total he played. Or
yeah,
5 throws, I guess.
5 plays total. And, I mean, it was just a disaster. He sat out for the rest of the game. PJ Walker came in, and again, we came out and won. So I think Watson, it's just time for Watson to sit for the time that he's supposed to sit and be out for this injury, because, we don't need to go through round 2 of the shoulder injury debacle like we had a couple years ago with Baker Mayfield. We don't need to do this all over again where we sit there, throw out an injured quarterback, and then he gets power driven into the ground, and next thing you know, he's out for a full season, maybe a part of next season, and everyone's going to be like, well, Deshaun Watson, is not the greatest quarter. The Browns wasted $230 million on Deshaun Watson, all that nonsense. Like, I'm
And
tired
that's already the talk. I mean, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, like everybody is saying, oh, he's a trust fund baby, as Brady Quinn said that, which was some rude shit, especially coming from a former Browns quarterback that had like 3,000 yards passing and like a 58 QBR with like 12. I think he had 12 touchdowns, like 17 picks. The dude
most
sucked.
overhyped quarterback in
Oh,
to come into the NFL. Like everyone hyped him up when he was at Notre Dame, and everyone's like, "Oh, Brady Quinn's gonna be so good." I remember all that shit, dude. Brady Quinn's gonna be so good. Came in, played for the Browns in Kansas City, was just absolute dog water.
Yeah, he was terrible. So like, for you to have that opinion about somebody when you haven't even had your own real career in the NFL itself, I mean, you were known in college. You're it just didn't make sense to me. And
you know what I've noticed too about a lot of this stuff too, when it's like former players that talk the most shit, is like the players who were the worst that was on the team, like Dante Whitner, Brady Quinn. It's like the people who were like the worst players on the team that were like completely just irrelevant, and they're just like the biggest talkers. Like, well, Deshaun Watson's a baby. It's like, okay, we get it. You were just an unknown, or you were just a scrub when you played for the Browns and played in the league in total. Like, we get it. You're trying to be relevant, but you never were. So you're not going to be like a Dan Orlovsky who, he was a backup quarterback for his whole career, but at least he gives good advice and he's like a good talk host.
Yeah, like
he's knowledgeable.
he actually breaks stuff down. Like the way that he breaks his stuff down, like Dan Orlovsky. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Just because of the way, like the just element of just smartness that the dude brings to that level of journalism. Dude, it's great. It's nice to see. And
he's just not trying to be relevant like everyone else.
Exactly. He doesn't care. He's got his own thing. He probably has an outstanding life. And it's just like, you don't need to talk crap about people. It's okay. And like, plus you don't know Watson. We don't know Watson. So like, why are you talking about him, man? Like, let the dude sit out. I knew this was going to happen. And this was what I wanted to avoid. I just wanted him to just sit out and continue to get healthy because, dude, all week long, I noticed that his throwing motion was off. It was different.
Yeah.
It was a lot more over the shoulder than it usually is. It was a lot more vertical than it usually is. It just didn't look like it was his throw. Like it just didn't look comfortable. And I was like, man, I don't like this. Like, I don't like this feeling. I don't like how he looks. I know he wants to play. And I think it was Stefanski's call. And I'm glad Stefanski made that where it's like, dude, you know what? It's fine. We got this. We got you. Just go get healthy, please, because we're gonna need you for this last stretch of the of the year, as we've talked about every podcast. We keep talking about it because this last stretch of the year, the last like 7 games, it's all winnable games, man. And we're 4-2 right now. We're in a nice spot. We can afford to lose this week if we have to Seattle to really start getting into the swing of things. Obviously, you would love a win. But this is the NFL. Shit happens, and not everybody is guaranteed to win. So I am just looking for the Browns to not make as many mistakes. I would like to see PJ be a little more consistent with with his throws. He just, man, there's some throws that he makes that is like, okay, that was a great throw, and then he makes a few of these throws that he had last week and even the week before. That's like, whew, man, you can't do that, man. Like, you're going to ruin our game.
Oh, no, dude. I totally feel that. But like you said, dude, it was a great call by Stefanski to pull him out and be like, listen, we're not going to make the same mistake twice that we did with Baker. And I think he finally realized that, like, what he did with Baker was a massive mistake, just putting him out there week in and week out. Like, absolutely. Like, we get it. It wasn't his throwing shoulder that Baker injured. It was his balancing shoulder that he needed to put up here to make throws and stuff. But when you realize when he could barely get his arm up to here and he's throwing the ball like this, like a little toddler trying to throw a ball or whatever, like, it's not going to end well. And here we are now, and he's seen that because the first ball wasn't a bad ball.
No.
The thing is, it just had no zip on it, so it couldn't get to
Yeah.
the receiver, so it got picked off. So if he was actually healthy, that ball could get there,
Yeah.
and he could I think it was Amari Cooper who was there, and he would have probably most likely made the catch, and that would have been a great start to the drive. But again, with small shoulder tear, there's no zip on the ball, so he can't get it to his receivers. He can't get it to anybody, and again, it doesn't help when your offensive line doesn't give you more than like half a second to throw the ball.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, man. Like, I'm glad he was able to sit. I'm glad PJ came in and just did what he's supposed to do. Again, PJ needs to limit the turnovers a little bit, needs to stop throwing picks, but he's doing what he's supposed to do, and that's drive down the field, get points on the board, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. He's just doing the job, and he's doing it well. And you just need him to keep doing that until Deshaun comes back, whenever that
Exactly.
is.
Exactly. And it just makes sense for us to just chill for a little bit on Watson, let him sit,
Yeah.
let him get healthy. Because fortunately, he didn't get hurt any worse. Like the MRI came back and it did not show that there was any sort of additional damage. Now, could he have aggravated a little bit? Possibly, but from what it sounded like, it didn't sound like it got any worse. So like that's good.
Yeah.
And I think don't even really let him throw. This week, just have him do strength work, have him get his flexibility back in there, and just work it a little bit. But like, don't overwork it right now. Just let him rest it. Let him give his shoulder some time to literally just stay. And
I'd rather have him for the Ravens and Steelers game
me
back to
too.
back
Yeah, me too.
rather than him playing against Seattle and Arizona.
Me too. And which I mean also brings me to another small topic here. Trade deadline is coming here really soon.
Yeah.
And the Browns have been somewhat active, it sounds like. We could see, Brissett come back. You could see them pull a move for a running back. Dalvin Cook is a guy that could, that could be there with how he's doing in, New York. You got Patterson from Atlanta. One more guy to add to the list. I've even seen Derrick Henry, which I don't think is necessarily the one that they'll go for, but it would be crazy if they, pulled that off. And then obviously we talked about possibly replacing Jed Wills, and that could very well happen then too.
Yeah.
So that will also, I think, help. That's why I am cool with Watson kind of laying low, letting him do his thing. I hate that he had to basically go out today and go to the media and say, "Hey, like I want to be here. Like I don't not want to play. I worked my ass off to get here for 2 years just to even play. And now that I'm hurt, like you guys think I'm trying to fake this, and it's just not the case. And it's like, listen, you don't have to like him. I get it, dude. Like the stuff that he's been involved in sucks, and that's the worst part about this whole entire thing. But like at the end of the day, we're married to the dude for the
Mhm.
next like 3 or 4 years because of that contract. So we have to be here for the highs and we have to be here for the lows. And right now, these are the lows. The dude was off for 2 years, so it's going to take time for him to get back. And it is what it is. It's definitely frustrating, but we have no choice. It's just what it is.
Yeah, and who's to say when he comes back, he comes back like he did against Tennessee, where he balled out, and we're all enjoying life on the high end. But I did listen to was it it's game day every day in Cleveland or whatever, the one that's on 92.3 The Fan with Baskin and Andy Baskin and Daryl Ryder. And I heard I guess Daryl said that, and we all know who Daryl Ryder is, and we all kind of have our opinions about him. I think he's kind of a scrub a little bit, but
Right.
I think he said he heard rumblings that the Browns were still in contact with Leatherwood, the offensive tackle. So
Yeah.
they said there still has been some contact over the last couple months with him, and still as of late, as the deadline's coming to a close, that they still been in kind of contact with him to try and bring him to Cleveland to kind of replace Jed Wills and kind of solidify the offensive line a little bit better. And but But no, I've heard rumblings of maybe Derrick Henry coming in. I saw literally I was on ESPN while before this, and Dan Orlovsky mentioned that the Browns should try and activate Kirk Cousins' no trade clause and try and go after Kirk Cousins, maybe, which would be a solid pickup getting Kirk Cousins. I mean, then you could probably rest Deshaun Watson until you get to that stretch that you need him to, and
Yeah, but the problem is Kirk Cousins going, is he
no,
going to take a back seat? No, he's not.
no,
And
and that's the thing.
I feel like if they do that,
It has to be Jacoby.
it has to be a guy like Jacoby that's just temporary, knows his role, but it's not going to piss Watson off, because if you trade for Kirk Cousins, that's what's going to piss him off. Truly,
Yeah,
that's what's going to piss him off.
Because then you actually have like a true kind of like QB battle in that situation, because Kirk Cousins is not a scrub. He's a decent quarterback. So if you can't, I get what Dan Orlovsky was trying to say in getting Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins is not a 1-year rental and then you just dump him, or he's not like a few game rental to where, unlike where you can go and get maybe, I've heard Jacoby Brissett, I've heard some people say Carson Wentz, I've heard Andy Dalton thrown around. Which I'd rather have Andy Dalton more than I would Carson Wentz.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't take Wentz for anything,
because we don't need another injury.
No, you don't. And honest to God, I just haven't been impressed with Wentz since before he got hurt in Philly, and he really hasn't been the same anyway. I mean, dude, this is when I wish we had Minshew, because Minshew dotted us up last week. And I love the dude. I love
Minshew.
Gardner. He's a great quarterback for them. He's a great backup quarterback for them. And it's just nice to have that, that blanket almost. Like he's sort of the, Nick Foles for them, I guess. And it's just, it fits his role and it's fine. But when he gets a chance to ball, he balls and it's fun. But listen, I get people wanting Kirk, and I get it because this defense is so elite. Like this defense alone, this defense alone is capable of literally winning a Super Bowl just by itself. And it would really suck if Deshaun really weighed us down. Now, let's say Watson gets shut down for the rest of the year, go do it.
Yeah, go get Kirk.
Yeah, but if Watson is going to be back in a week or two and he starts to play better, then it's like, what the fuck did we do that for? Because now we're just paying Kurt and Watson, and it's I don't know. And who knows if he would even do it? I mean, I would assume he would because of the continuity with with Stefanski. But I don't know. That's a weird one to be in.
Yeah, no, and I would actually prefer Jacoby too, because he knows the system already.
Yeah.
He knows the playbook. It's not like it's a playbook that is any different from last year. And the one thing I like about Jacoby is he's not turnover crazy. He's not PJ Walker. He secures the ball. He keeps the ball. He doesn't throw into dangerous situations. If he is about to get sacked, he doesn't throw it through the middle of the field and it gets picked off. He throws it out of bounds and he survives another day, or he just takes the sack, which I'd rather PJ take a sack than him gunning the ball 50 yards downfield and it gets picked off.
Yeah.
Although the one interception, I don't know what that interception he had. I don't know what the hell he was doing, throwing it 90 yards downfield into the end zone to Amari Cooper. Like,
it was a good punt.
It was a great
that's
punt.
What it was. It was a good punt.
It was a great punt. Like, and I mean, we get the ball back on we stopped him at their 3-yard line.
It worked out. Like it did
out.
work out. But again, it's like he underthrew Cooper because he technically had Cooper. He just had to have him go more towards the sideline or towards the end zone a little bit more.
Yeah.
And he kind of wanted to go toward
the middle.
And it didn't really work out. So I get that. And but at least that didn't kill us. Like that wasn't the one that killed us. Honestly, what could have killed us was that potential fumble that we so badly got. Thank the football gods for giving us that call.
Not gonna lie, I am so glad. Like, it feels good the last couple of weeks that we've gotten the other side of the spectrum where we've been bailed out, and it's like, oh, thank God, because normally we're the ones who get fucked over.
Yeah, and it's so funny too because everybody's like, oh, well, like you guys won, through this and all that. I'm like, dude, you have no idea how many times we've lost games because of refs. And I
I can think
always
of so
bring up,
many,
yeah, but
like Bottlegate,
yeah,
Washington,
anytime we play Oakland, I swear to God,
Oakland.
we always get screwed over. Dude, Baker's like first 2 years, we got screwed over both times against Oakland. We had the Redskins game that one time where Duke literally has the ball in his hand, and they're like, "Oh, it's their ball," and we're like, "Duke has the ball right in his hand. Like, what's
He's
going
literally
on?"
standing up with the
Yeah,
ball out of the
he's like, "What
pile,
are you
holding the
doing?"
football. I'm like, hey, I got
And
it.
that's just the tip of it, man. Like that's not even. Oh, like we've had so many
Bottlegate's
bad
probably the
calls.
worst.
Yeah,
Bottlegate's definitely
it
the
it
worst.
definitely is. But like the point is we've been dealing with it for so much. It's nice to see us get a few calls. Now, do I like it when a ref depends or kind of sort of dictates the way a game ends?
Absolutely
No,
not.
of course not. Of
I
course
want
not.
the refs. I want the
Fuck.
refs to make the correct calls.
Yes. And like that's why you should allow replays to happen on literally every call. Like you should be able to technically review every single call
That's
because
what I
we
agreed
were
with Jim
human.
Irsay on. Like when he
Yeah.
said that, like I was like, I agree with that. You should be able to review everything
Yeah.
because you.
Human error happens.
But when you're looking at a video like 500 times over,
Mm-hmm.
you should be able to make the correct decision in that moment. Like,
Yeah.
okay, look, I looked at this. Like it's like the pass interference against the Saints
Mm.
in the playoffs. Like when they decided to make pass interference a reviewable call the next year, and they just decided to butcher the living hell out of it because I can't remember who's the dude that was the head of it, but he said he never wanted to like overturn the penalties. He said whatever the calls in the field, that was a call.
Yeah.
He's like
It's
just he told the
it,
refs to like literally go look at the screen for like 2 seconds and just not change your mind. And it's like, dude, it's blatant pass interference. We all know this. And the guy's like, it's not pass interference. It's like, so they took it away, and it's like, why? It's like that's a great one to have. Like pass interference is probably one of the biggest penalties in the game, and you
yeah.
took that away because you felt insecure that
You literally had an ego because you're too scared to just admit that you got a call wrong because it happens, right?
yeah.
You're like
And it was the head
we were
of
human.
the referee thing. I can't remember his name, but it was,
Yeah.
the dude was a fucking moron.
I hate even more so that you can criticize a ref as a player or a coach and then you get fined literally like the next day. Like that to me pisses me off.
I
Like
think
that's a part of the game. Fuck you.
I think
Like
I think if the refs make a wrong call, depending on the degree of the call,
yeah.
they should be fined or penalized.
I
Or
totally agree with that. Are you kidding me?
like,
I've always been wanting that.
oh, and I liked what someone else said. Like, how come we don't interview referees after a game
Oh,
to
yeah.
like get their eyes on like what they saw? Like, could you imagine what they would say after the Colts game? Like, listen, we fucked it up like
Yeah.
bad. Like,
I would be, dude, I would pay to be a reporter when you would interview the referees. Could you imagine the
oh yeah,
questions that would come in because fans are already hot? You don't think the journalists aren't going to be fired up? But like, you guys just blew 3 calls today. You fucking overturned each one because you didn't know what you were doing, dude. Or even, dude, could you have imagine when if that would have happened when it was when the refs had that like labor thing that they were going on, their like union was going through, so they had the backup refs. And
mm.
it was like a Pittsburgh, or no, it was
The Seattle Packers game.
yes, that's exactly what it was. Oh my god.
The Seattle
Do
Packers,
you
the
remember
Seahawks
the
Packers game,
uproar? Do you remember the uproar? Because that
dude.
was like a Monday or like a Thursday night game. It was a bigger game.
I think it was like one of the first games of the season. It was like, oh, it
Yeah.
was a Sunday night because it was the first game of the season.
Yeah.
It was a
Oh,
Sunday
yeah.
night game.
That's what it was. Yep.
It was a
Dude.
Sunday night game, and because I remember going to school the next day and talking about it with all my friends and
Mhm.
stuff. I'm like, what the fuck was going
Yeah,
on?
like what is happening? Like why are we paying high school level referees to ref an NFL game? That is mad to me. That is insane. Like you can't be just taking scrubs off the side of the road. Like these guys, like legitimate refs actually make pretty good money. I know I know that for a fact.
I think I looked it up. They make like 500K.
Yeah, dude, they make great money.
They make insane money.
Yeah, so like those guys get paid like that for a reason because they're on national television. It's a
They're
big game.
professionals.
People are also paying a lot of money to be there, so it's like you got to be good at your jobs. And it's like it's the same sort of conversation in baseball, even having a robot strike zone or whatever the hell it was, where you have just the strict strike zone. It's always there, and that's the stuff too that we always complain about. How many times have we had calls in baseball that have been just horrendous, and the dude calls it a strike, and you're like, in what planet?
Angel Hernandez should never have a job anymore, ever.
No,
He's the
ever.
worst.
Oh, I hate him so much. Like, dude, the ball, if this is where the strike zone is, the ball's right here, and he's like, strike! And you're like,
dude, the ball's over your head, and he's calling that shit a strike.
It's like, dude, in what, who are you pitching to? Yao Ming? What's going on?
And the funny thing is, too, is like they zoom in on him and shit too. He's like laughing and stuff. Like it's like I guarantee he's doing this shit on purpose because he's loving the attention that he's getting. And the MLB's looking at it, it's like it's entertainment profits at this point. Like, look at this idiot making all these stupid calls.
I'm not gonna lie. I hope that the refs are held to the same standard as the players are when it comes to the betting stuff. Because I could bet money that there's shady shit going on in some games. 100%. Like in college ball, pro ball, anywhere. I'm telling you, it's like it's there. It's been happening since like the 80s, if not longer.
Well, yeah, Calvin Ridley got suspended for a full year for gambling on the Falcons.
Yeah,
for betting on the Falcons. Like, I think if NFL referees have bets going on, they need to be investigated too and suspended and fined.
Yeah.
Like the player, the referees need to be treated like the players. Like,
absolutely.
And if that's not the case, then players and coaches should be allowed to criticize referees and 100%. not get fined or suspended for it. Like, we should be able to criticize their stupid mistakes.
Yeah, it's like that. To me, that is just ridiculous. But
I would rather be a mascot than a referee, by the way, because
100%.
I do you know the yearly salary for the Denver Nuggets mascot?
No.
$630,000 a year.
Dude, I want to be Moondog so badly. Are you kidding me? That'd be so great. I'd be a fat Moondog. It'd be so awesome.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, being Moondog, dude, you're getting paid like over a 6 figures a year. Like, I'm like, dude, let's sign me the fuck.
Or even just being, mustard and onion, dude, for the derby. Like,
you know what I looked up to? The people who do when during the NBA games, the people who mop the court while the game's going on, like in the middle of the game.
Yeah, those guys make like $60K, I think. Or
no,
more.
they make almost like $85K a year.
Sign me up. Where do I go train for that?
And you get a ring too if you win the championship. Like, dude,
I gotta call the CAVS tonight because I'm tired of my personal job, guys. I can't lie. But
how do you even get a job like that?
I don't know, but like I want to find a way to do it. Like whatever training I have to go to, if I have to start at Penn State, go down there and go scrub floors during the game, I'll freaking do it. I don't care.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm committed. You're telling me I can make almost 100K.
Dude, I could probably make as much as I do now being the water boy on an NFL roster or on an NFL team and I get to travel with the team to every game.
Yep,
be like, oh, what do you do? Like, oh, I'm a water boy for the Cleveland Browns. Like, I just literally just throw water in their mouths or throw them a bottle, and I make like $70K a year just doing that shit.
That makes me sick to my stomach.
That's so disgusting.
That would make me sick to my stomach. Because because even scouts, so like college scouts don't make that much money. They make about like 30 or 40.
Unless you're at Michigan. Unless you're at Michigan, you make a shit ton of money.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. Shout out to El Presidente.
Yeah.
He's been hot and heavy about this, and it's funny. Yeah, Michigan. Fuck Michigan. I hate him.
Of course they get caught cheating.
I mean, of course. And of course it was during the 2 years that they beat us. So like, I mean, obviously we didn't play well. Okay, that's fine. But now we know why we didn't play nearly as well as we.
They had our playbook.
They had our fucking playbook. But also, you know what, Ryan Day, can you not make our offense so easy to fucking get signs from? Like, can you do that? Like, I will withhold to the same standard. And I had somebody bring up if OSU had done this, you wouldn't have been this mad. And I was like, hell yeah, I would have. Are you kidding me? If OSU got caught cheating, like
I'd
that,
be pissed.
I'd be pissed. I'd be like, get Ryan Day off this team right now. This is the definitely final straw. Those kids don't deserve that shit because those kids don't know what the fuck's going on. They are just told. But even though it sounds like Michigan did have kids that knew about it and were involved in it, but this
Yeah.
scout was literally, dude, this guy was literally taking scouts and other paid people, paying for their fucking tickets and going to go watch the games just to steal signs.
And they got caught on the security cameras at the stadium doing
Yeah.
it too, which is what the best part is. And they're like, "We didn't do shit," and it's like
Well,
the security cameras caught you.
and apparently, he was supposed to go to the Ohio
Ohio
State
State
and Penn
fans.
State game last week, and his seats were not taken because of all this stuff going on. So it's like, you just made yourself look so bad,
I wonder
so
why
bad.
that seat's empty.
You're right. It makes me laugh. It always makes me laugh when a
Always
team that I hate so much.
have to one up your opponent.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope Ohio State puts 80 down on them today or this
Oh,
year.
I
I hope Ryan Day comes in, fired the fuck up because we need it, man. I need it.
well now it's gonna be a better game because now they don't know the playbook because they didn't get to show up to the game, so they don't know our playbook this year.
And,
So
and honestly, Michigan is not as good this year as they were,
they're
in the last few
so over.
years. Their defense is significantly less.
This is a great transition,
Obviously,
by the way, too, to the Ohio State Penn State game.
it is, and it's that was a great game too. By the way, and we will
Oh,
definitely get into that. But my point about Michigan is they are just not as good as they are seeded. And I think we're gonna
yeah.
shit stomp them. And I'm excited for it. I can't remember. I think this game this year is at the Big House though. I don't think it's at Ohio State
Yes, if I remember correctly, it is
because
at
I remember that we got our ass kicked at home last year. I think it was last year.
yeah, it's at Michigan.
Is it okay? Yeah. So I will be at the Ohio State versus Michigan State game, which is in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And I am very excited about that. That is going to be a fun game. It's a night game. It's that house is going to be rocking. I'm so excited for that game. I haven't been to an Ohio State game since like 2015. Like it was the year after we had won the Natty.
Yeah.
And but what's funny is that same week that I go to that game, guess who plays each other? Michigan and Penn State. And I hope Penn State beats them. But honestly, my thing with Penn State, and I think this played a huge factor last week, is Penn State does not have a lot of good skilled players. Their
quarterback play is so bad.
yeah, and that too. But like their wide receivers had zero separation against us, so we were down. I mean, we were down our top our top corner in Burke.
Yeah.
Like we did not play a super great game, and our defense still locked the fuck up. And McCord didn't turn the ball over. He didn't make many mistakes. We ran the ball still very, very well, even without Henderson.
Henderson, yeah.
And he's back this week, so that's good. That'll be great for us. And Ohio State is fortunately winning the games that we were supposed to win, and not even supposed to win, but the games that we really needed to win, which so far has been ND and PSU. So to win those games the way that we have, even though they've been close, listen, as long as we have a W next to that game, that's all that matters. So.
Well, the funny thing is like Penn State was everyone's talking about how good Penn State was, and they're like, well, Penn State's going to decimate OSU. They're going to dominate the game and stuff like that too. And it's like, take a look at your schedule compared to our schedule. We've already played and proven ourselves against a formidable opponent against Notre Dame. The best opponent you've had was like fucking Western Kentucky
and Maryland.
Like
I think they played Maryland and they struggled. It was either they struggled against Maryland or it was Michigan that struggled against Maryland.
I think
it was actually
they played West Virginia, beat them 38-15. They beat Delaware 63-7. They beat Illinois 30-13. They beat Iowa 31-0. They beat Northwestern 41-13, and then they beat UMass Massachusetts 63-0. They have yet to play. They lost to us. They have yet to play Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Rutgers, and Michigan State.
Yeah, so I mean, they still have a decent schedule left, but I mean, again, even so, we were the only like real competition.
We were the first real opponent that they had all year. And everyone's like, oh, they're beating these teams 60-7. It's like, yeah, everyone else could beat Delaware 60-7. Like, come on now. Like, stop. Like, you think Delaware is a formidable opponent. You think,
Not even close.
like, come on, guys. And then you go to Ohio State and your quarterback, let's see, your quarterback throws for 190 yards. Your running back goes for 48 yards. Meanwhile, Kyle McCord goes for 286 yards, and Marvin Harrison has 162 of those passing yards.
Yeah. And I mean, so this, the final score of that game was 20-12, but Penn State scored at the very end of the game.
Yeah,
So
it
had
was
it
like the
not
last
been for
drive.
had it not been for that, it would have been a 20 to like 6 game or something.
Yeah,
Like
20-6.
it was a game that was dominant from the start, and
And you know what everyone was saying, especially Penn State fans? Oh, it was so close. It's like it
no, it
was
wasn't.
not
No,
close.
it
It was
wasn't.
not. Look
Kyle
at
McCord almost threw for 300 yards. He played pretty well. Mine Williams, obviously scored, and then obviously Marvin Harrison. I mean, the dude can we say anything else good about this kid? Like the dude's
if he's
amazing.
not a Heisman winner or like in the running for a Heisman, like that's so fucked.
I mean, I definitely think it's more in play now that Caleb Williams is kind of playing bad. They've lost 2 games now. USC is out of the playoff mix for good because they've lost 2 games. Once you lose 2 games, you're out of it, man. Like unless everybody else is starting to lose, you're out of it.
You know what's funny? Someone said that Caleb Williams should sit out for the rest of the year and just go
Yeah,
to the draft.
you should. I mean, at this point, you have nothing else to lose and everything to gain. And
You're already out of the playoffs, so there's
yeah,
no like you and your draft stock. Like it's gonna hurt a little bit, but you're still gonna be a
no, it
top.
won't.
You're still
It
gonna be a
won't.
top 5 pick. Like
Now
he'll
he'll
probably
be
he'll be
he'll
guaranteed
be
number
the
one.
top pick. Yeah, I mean he will because whoever is going to need a quarterback which is going to be the likes of I would say Atlanta, Chicago, those two specifically I think are the most up there. And then there's a few more teams I'm sure that I am banking on right now, but
Mhm.
I cannot think right now. But again, those teams, Arizona even could be a team that could very well be in that mix if they move on from Kyler. So like he's going to have options and he's going to be able to kind of decide that. And whoever really wants him is going to trade up for him anyway. It's just like
Yeah,
what Houston did this year with getting Stroud and, even Carolina doing what they did to get Bryce Young. And it's like when teams need a quarterback and they really, like, really, really, really do need a quarterback, they're going to go after him and they're going to go heavy. So,
Mhm.
you will see somebody do it, and that's the thing about Chicago is I'm pretty sure if they hold the worst, thing in the whole league, they're going to have the first like 3 or 4 picks anyway because I think they're going to be guaranteed at least one of the top 2 picks. So Chicago is sitting pretty. I think that's who's going to, you know, uh,
yeah.
ultimately have him. And I think it makes sense. I think they get rid of Justin Fields and just let him have a fresh start because I don't think he's been treated fairly there. And I think uh, you're going to ruin his career if he stays in Chicago. I
And then
think I think
Caleb
if he
Williams'
goes,
career.
and I think if he goes anywhere else, he's going to succeed a lot better.
Mhm.
And I'm very curious to see who ends up getting Fields, because whoever does that is going to be somebody that's going to be completely out of the mix for Williams anyway.
I would love to see Atlanta go after Justin Fields or something.
Me too. Me too. I
I
think
think
that
he'd be a
one makes
great
the
fit
most sense.
there. Yeah,
I do think that one makes the most sense.
him and Bijan would be great together.
I low key almost wanted the Browns to get him at one point, um, but I don't really think he would necessarily fit. I mean, he would definitely play better here for sure because he has way more guys to throw to. I mean,
And a better
Chicago
O
has
line.
nobody. I mean, dude, Chicago has DJ
Nobody.
Moore, and then that's it. Like
Cole Kmet, maybe.
yeah, they just have a barrage of like decently average running backs and a barrage of decently to below average wide receivers, and then a decent tight end that's a little overpaid for what he's done.
Yeah.
Um, and a defense and really a team that's kind of just given up. Like they're starting to do the whole rebuild, and it's interesting. It's going to be cool to see, but again, with Ohio State playing how we played, to get back on track because we've been getting.
Yeah.
But for OSU to just come in and say, listen, there's nothing to be scared of. This team is not that great, and we are going to show it. That was good because Penn State was a team that I was pretty darn anxious about to play because of just the way they have been playing, but.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really bat an eye, and it was nice to see. It's just nice to see our freaking D defense too, man. It's been a while since we've had a pretty good D defense here at OSU, and
Yeah.
that's what I've enjoyed the most, honestly. Like, yeah, we really haven't had a super crazy pass rush, but just overall, the defense itself is just playing so much better.
Yeah, no, and I'm excited to see because we have Wisconsin coming up Saturday. Another nighttime game, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. So
Is that at was that at Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's at Camp Randall in Wisconsin.
Cool. So yeah, that'll be a good game.
And it's going to be a chilly one too, because according to ESPN, the game time weather is going to be 40 degrees. So it's going to be a little.
That's perfect weather, man. What are you talking about? Like, as a
good football
player, that is like you don't even need a long sleeve to play in that game unless you're a quarterback, because McCord is going to do that.
Yeah,
but as a lineman, if it's 40 degrees, you're still sweating. You're wearing a short, you're wearing a shirt.
As a soccer player, I used to actually like that kind of weather too, because it's like you're running around. It's just like, yeah, you're still sweating, but it's like it's a feel good. Like you don't feel cold at all. You just like
you don't feel like you're just super dehydrated and just drained. Like you're like, hey, I
can run in this.
Yeah. Now once it does start to get too cold, though, it sucks for me because I hate breathing in that cold ass air. That is
that shit hits me hard.
Right. And like, obviously you have asthma, so like I don't deal with that. So like I couldn't imagine how I would feel on that side of things.
Oh, it hurts.
Asthma sucks.
Dude, my lungs feel like they're just burning constantly.
Yeah. Like even just to walk through like downtown Cleveland before a like later in the year game where it's like late November, early December, and you get ready to go down there and it's fucking 30 degrees and it's raining, it's snowing, it's sleeting, and you're like, yeah, but I got a really good deal on these seats. And you're like, I wonder why. Because it's cold as hell out there, man.
Asthma or football? It's like asthma or football.
I mean, 100%. Bring an inhaler. We're good. We're good.
Oh, dude, I have like 5 different inhalers. I just stack into my pocket and I dump them out. They're like, we got it.
Inhaler.
I dump it out. They're like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to die. And they're like, hey, you go ahead, man.
Yeah, you go ahead, man. Enjoy it. Beer's on me.
They put me next to the fucking team emergency room, so in case if I pass out, I'm right next to a little family emergency room in there.
Oh my gosh. So, to jump off of that and jump into a little bit of CAVS talk.
Yes, sir.
Guys, the CAVS are back. Obviously, we started to talk about them a little bit last week, but yesterday, Max Struss had a fantastic opening. That was a great game. I think he hit 7 threes, right?
Yeah. Let me take a look at the box score real quick since I have it up.
Yeah.
He 7 for 13 on threes.
So he was just putting it up. Like he was just like, fuck it.
Mind you, he was 9 for 17 in total.
Yeah.
7 for 13 on threes.
And obviously Donnie Mitch coming in clutch towards the end. I mean, that's what he does. I mean, that's why you have him. He's obviously still going to be our great player. But dude, Struss fit great into the Cavs lineup, and I'm really curious to see what this lineup is going to really do once we get the big man back. Back in Jared Allen, because it sounded like Evan played center last night. So I don't have Bally Sports, so I can't watch the game.
I don't either.
So I miss out on a lot of the games, unfortunately. Everybody boycott Bally Sports because they suck.
Are they already bankrupt?
They are, but I don't know what's going on with that. I haven't heard anything since I heard.
Bring back Fox Sports Ohio.
Yes, please.
That way I can actually watch it on Hulu all over again.
For real.
No, but StreamEast.io. You can watch all the Cavs games on StreamEast.io for free.
Link that to me.
I will link it to you.
Yeah,
I'll link it to you after this.
Yes, absolutely. Because I want to watch the Cavs, but like with Bally Sports, it's like I'm sorry, but I'm not paying $20 just for that. Like it's one thing
No.
to get, a $20, subscription to doing Netflix or Hulu or whatever,
Yeah.
because I have YouTube TV, which is honestly my favorite. I think that's the best one. It's the best streaming service in my opinion because it's I don't deal with a lot of the like choppiness and BS that
Yeah.
you will get in those older streams that we had. Um and it's been great so far. But I'm not paying $20 for Bally Sports
Yeah.
just for Cavs and
Oh,
Guardians.
also you can only watch streamies on your PC or your
That,
phone.
that's
So,
fine. That's fine.
but yeah, no, dude. Evan Mobley was listed as a power forward last night. So it has Okoro and Mobley as the forwards, Garland and Mitchell and Struss as guards.
I mean he wasn't power forward or yeah,
But
he
he
was not
acted
the
like
power
the
forward.
center.
Right. Because I'm pretty sure Okoro was probably the guard and then Struss was small forward, I would assume.
Okoro was a small forward. Struss was a shooting guard with Donovan Mitchell.
So okay, so we are bringing Levert off the bench. It sounds yeah,
Yeah, Levert's off.
definitely.
Levert was on the bench,
Well, because
and
you got to think the starting lineup once Jared Allen does come back is going to obviously be Darius, Donovan, Struss, Mobley, and then Allen.
yeah,
I feel like that's going to be the starting lineup. And then coming off the bench, you got Niang, you got Okoro, you got
yeah.
Levert, and then I think you have I forget what their other big guy is, but I know he had some minutes last
It's
night too.
Deion Jones.
Yes.
Oh, Damian Jones. Damian Jones. My
Damian
bad.
Jones. Yeah, he was the backup for Utah, I think, last year or like
Yeah,
over the last few years. So and again, another guy that knows, Donovan. So that's great too. And even Niang did too, which is really nice. So like they seem to probably say, hey, you know what, if this is your last year, let's go out with a bang and let's go get this. And so far, like I like what we saw.
I like
The
him.
team looks confident.
I like what I saw from Struss. I mean, double in your first Cavs game.
Yeah, I mean you can't beat that. And everybody give us crap for doing that uh that signing with him because it's like, oh, like he's just a glorified Osman. It's like, I don't think about that. He's actually hitting his shots.
He
Osman
was
was bricking everything in the playoffs, man.
well for me. Struss was a good part of the reason why Miami made that big run in the postseason and made the finals. Max Struss was a big part of that.
Yeah, he
It's
was.
not like he was a fucking scrub on the bench or whatever, just diddling his fingers like Chetty Osman was. No, he was. He was a huge reason why he came on, made some clutch threes, made some clutch shots, came in, balled out, and
And
I mean,
he's solid
and
on
you
both
can't
ends of the floor too.
And
I
you
mean,
can't tell me you come into the first game and like, oh, Max Stress is not that great. He's like a Chetty Osman. Chetty Osman doesn't
right.
go 25 points and 12 rebounds in a game.
Right.
Not at all.
I think the most that Jetty dropped was like 25.
Yeah.
Like Jetty's had some big games, but it was never consistent. So I am curious to see the level of consistency there. But again, Struss fit right in. It sounded like they game planned it a little bit. And
Mhm.
I mean, the good thing about basketball is it's kind of who ever really has the hot hand. And last night he had it. And the nice thing about this team is anybody can really have the hot hand. Like Donovan Mitchell is going to have his nights. Darius Garland is going to have his nights. Evan Mobley will even have his nights. Hell, Jared Allen every once in a while is totally capable of doing a 25 and 12 game. Like that's very very easy for him to do. And then you got some great dudes off the bench. Everything looks great. Even Akora looked great last night. I think he had
He
like
did.
16. So like
He,
for him to be hitting threes, if Okoro can finally develop his three-pointer, he's going to be great for us. That's the only thing that's ever really held him back because he's outstanding on defense, and he's super athletic. So once he gets that shot down, I really feel like Okoro is just going to be a really big part of this team.
Okoro had 18.
18. So I mean that's even better. How many threes he had? 2, 3.
Okoro had two for four, so
Okay, so
50%.
solid. So if you can get that out of Okoro on sort of a nightly basis where he's at least hitting a few threes and he is contributing not only to scoring but also obviously on the defensive end because that's what he does. Dude, mean, that's exactly what you need out of him. So I liked what I saw about it. I'm just happy the basketball's back because, dude, this time of the year is my favorite, man. It's my favorite time of the year. Like having all of this, and even we still have, baseball. Like,
Yeah.
World Series is getting ready to have, which that's another interesting thing. Diamondbacks and Rangers. Those are, I mean, if anybody said, "Hey, who's going to be the two World Series teams?" Did anybody think it was going to be the Diamondbacks and the Rangers?
And I'm
Hell
glad
no.
I'm glad it is them
I
because
mean, yeah, same.
it's something different. It's not the Astros versus Phillies again.
And the Diamondbacks have a solid team. They really do.
Well, the thing is, these are two teams. Just 2 years ago, just 2 years ago in 2021, they both had over 100 losses,
Yeah.
and
They
here they
both
are in the World
suck.
Series facing off each other.
Yeah.
Like 2 years later, like that's incredible.
It's cool to see, and it's good for the game. Like it's always good for the game. Like it was nice to see that it wasn't Atlanta that just rolled through and got and did kind of what the Dodgers did a few years ago, where they just kind of rolled through and just like you knew that they were going to win that year. They were just
Yeah,
so good. It's
I
just
like the
nice to see.
D-backs.
It's nice to see these newer teams getting in here. I'm really
Hmm.
rooting for the D-backs.
Me too.
Personally. And yeah, dude, it's just a great time of the year for sports. It really, really is. This is my favorite time of the year.
Yeah. So, should we get into predictions as such for
Yes,
football?
sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so where do you want to start? You want to go Browns, Ohio State, or do you want to go Ohio State Browns? And then also we got Cavs predicts as well.
Let's go with Cavs, Ohio State. Then we'll end on the big
All right,
boys.
big bet, big bet. All right. So who are the Cavs facing?
OKC.
Okay, that's right. We did talk about this. Um,
OKC.
OKC is interesting.
So Shai Gilgeous Alexander coming to town.
As first Thunder, I just
They're
want to
both 1 and
see.
0.
Yeah. So I mean, but the good thing about about OKC is they are very young too, so they are
They're
going to be a
very
fun team
young.
for us to watch. I just want to. I wanted to pull up the freaking rosters, but that's too bad. So, anyways, I mean it's opening night for us. Like it would be very tough for me to say that we are going to lose this game. I am going to say that Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland is going to be the ones that really go off.
So before you make a decision, here is the injury report for tomorrow.
Okay.
It is Jarrett Allen out
Right.
as of today.
Yeah.
And then Darius Garland and Dean Wade are game time decisions.
What's wrong with my boy Garland?
Left hamstring strain.
So he might not play. So, in that case, Struss will probably have another big game. I think Donnie Mitch comes out and drops 40. To be honest with you, I don't think if that's a way that you want to silence everybody that's been talking and be like, oh, you want to leave, you want to leave. If that if you really want to show us, go drop 40 for me, big dog. I got you. But yeah, I don't think I definitely don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but I definitely think it's gonna be a fun, good game for us.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna win. I don't really know if I even want to give a score predict because
We don't have to give score.
the
Basketball's harder.
basketball score predicts are so hard because there's some teams that are gonna score 90 and then there's teams that are gonna drop 130. You never know.
Yeah, so we'll just give the
yeah.
team.
So yeah, I definitely do think the Cavs will win. Opening night we looked good, so it was nice to see us get that first dub. So I think we're going to continue that. I think it's going to be Donovan Mitchell's game tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the Cavs win this game. I don't think it's with ease. I think missing Darius, if he does miss, I think that would be a solid loss to have. But I mean, it looked like the people we have stepped up. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, who had a slow start last night, came alive in the second half and balled out. But Okoro picked up a lot. He had 18 points. He almost had 20. Struss 27 to 12, like balled out. So I can see us winning. but it's gonna be a close one for sure.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
All right,
All right,
Ohio
uh-oh.
State, Wisconsin,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
I mean, first of all, I mean, I don't see us losing to them. What's their record,
They're
Wisconsin?
5-2.
Okay, so I mean, they've lost a few games. They're obviously always a tough team for us, but as of like the last few years that we've played them, I feel like we've always kind of started to handle business with them. I think it's
Their
going to be like a
their QB Mordecai is 114 for 179 for 1,100 yards, 3 tutties, 3 picks.
okay, so he's not, so he's a little newer this year. So they've
Yeah,
probably been running the ball a lot then. If
yeah.
he's got
Allen,
that.
their running back Allen has 120 carries for 705 yards and 8 tutties.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, if they're gonna try to run the ball, but honestly, we've been doing a pretty solid job against the run, so I
Yeah.
think that's gonna continue. I think this is gonna be a little bit more of a blowoutish type game than people think. I think
Okay.
it's gonna be like 34 to like 17 ish. Like
I was
I'm
I was
gonna
gonna
give
go.
Wisconsin, some points, but like
Yeah,
we're definitely gonna drop 30.
I was gonna go like 34-10.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't think it's gonna be that close.
No.
I think Ohio State's just gonna go in, handle business. But this does spell like a little bit of trap game, but also not really because we played well last week. So like we didn't seem to really struggle, and we're getting guys back. So
Yeah.
I don't see us struggling a lot with Wisconsin.
No, I don't either. And then on to the big dog, the
Yep.
Browns versus the Seattle
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
So before I make my predict, my buddy just sent this as of 15 minutes ago. Adam Scheffner put out that Kenneth Walker and Tyler Lockett did not practice again for the second straight day. So
Ooh, so they could miss.
now,
They could miss both.
and listen, if Walker's out, that's gonna hurt my fantasy team. But
Me too.
Tyler Lockett, I'm not too concerned with just because they
He's
have
just more concerned with
JSN,
DK.
DK, and I even think DK has been
Bobo.
sort of hurt too. So like again, nobody on their offense like scares the hell out of me. Like not even
No.
DK. Like DK is a big boy, but if you just get under his skin a little bit, he's rattled. He's
This
so
isn't
easy to break.
this isn't Geno Lasher who balled out, made like every pass and stuff like that. This Geno Smith came back down to earth and is
Yeah,
normal Geno Smith that has struggled over in years to come. So that's the Geno Smith that is playing this year. It's not Lasher where he was
exactly.
balling the fuck out and he was almost MVP type shit.
Exactly. So I mean, I'm not scared of them on offense. It's their defense. I mean, Witherspoon is a top corner in the league right
Yeah.
now, and I 100% give him his props. I am totally. They have a solid defense, dude. Like they really do. They have a solid core, especially in that in that DB room. Um, it's a team that I can see it definitely being a closer game than last week. Like I think it'll be a little more like the San Fran game where there won't be a shit ton of points on either side. It's going to come down to who has the ball last or who really gets hot during one part of the game. I still think the Browns can win it, but I feel like we might get drawn back down to earth, and it'll we could lose. But the good thing about being 4-2 is even if we do lose, it doesn't necessarily hurt us. It's a non-division game. It's not a game that really like matters right now, and we're more worried about Watson getting healthy. So, do I obviously want to win 100%? I would
Yeah.
love to 5-2, but if we lose, I'm not going to be too upset. Just please, if we're going to lose, at least lose like the way we lost to the Ravens, where it's just like, okay, I'm checked out by halftime.
Yeah.
And but if we do win, I think it's going to be like a 20 to like 17 game.
Dude, I think we're on each other's minds because I
Yeah.
was gonna put 21-17.
Dude, we do this every week, and we're like, man, we're just always on our minds. It's like maybe we just think the same. Like that's just how it is.
Because we think PJ Walker's playing, and
Well,
it's
yeah,
not
he
going to be
is
a very high
100%.
scoring game for the offense. Like PJ Walker's not going to go down and throw tutties and shit.
Right.
And then on the flip side, the Browns defense is literally the best in the league, and last week wasn't a great showing of it, but I mean, we've held teams under 20 points, I held 17 points.
Yeah.
So I mean, if anything, 17 points is all they're going to get because
this defense is still good as fuck.
This defense is ridiculous. So, but I was going to say 21-17. No matter who wins, whether the Browns win it or if the Seahawks win it, it's going to be 21-17. Either team to take it.
Yeah. I totally agree with
that. Because I don't want to put specifically the Browns are going to win because I just don't know if I have that confidence in us this week.
Seattle's a good team. I mean,
yeah, Seattle's a good team. So I would even say Seattle wins this game 21-17 more than the Browns do.
Yeah, it's just hard for me to literally be like, yeah, the Browns are going to lose. Now,
but we're going to be the more realistic.
Against San Fran, I did 100% believe that we were going to lose.
Oh, we're going to get killed. I thought we were going to get killed.
I knew, especially after that first drive when they just marched right down like 5 plays and just scored. I was like, this is going to be
a long day.
A long day. And somehow we won that game. But thanks to our defense, we're always going to be in games, and that's why. I'm not going to put it past us anymore. Like, I really think the Browns have like turned a page in terms of like just the vibe. Mm-hmm. Everybody on that defense fully believes that they can win every game. And like, if you have that, man, it's going to make everybody else on the other side of the ball totally agree and totally buy in. And I think Stefanski's got a decent grip on this, team. And that's good to hear. That's what I want to see. So let's get Watson healthy. And hey, if we beat Seattle, we beat Seattle. Like, that would be dope. So let's hope for it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to include episode 6. Or I should say conclude. I don't know why I said include. It's been a long day, folks. I'm not going to lie.
Week.
It's a Thursday night. The end of the week is almost here. We are ready to get off. So without further ado, we are going to conclude this show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Follow all of the socials down below. We got obviously the account Twitter as well as our own. It's been a fun day, Andrew.
It's been a great day.
See you guys.
We'll see you.